Thank you very much for joining us and a warm welcome to you. Please be reminded that our broadcast is coming to you in English and in French for those on the CanalSat network. You can use the blue button or the info button to change the settings to your preferred language. Also, we are reaching you live on our website, Africanews.com. Now, opposition supporters in Malawi have been celebrating after a panel of 5 top judges annulled the results of last May's presidential election. It is not often that this happens in the tea-producing country of 19 million people in Southern Africa. But this time it has happened and it is shaking a continent. But the Constitutional Court's historic decision on Monday to overturn the 2019 presidential election seems to have done exactly that. In a landmark judgment that experts hailed as a step forward for democracy, the country's Constitutional Court found that evidence of fraud and malpractice meant that the results of the poll could not be allowed to stand. Bridget.
Exactly, Jerry. After 6 months of hearings that kept Malawi in suspense, the Constitutional Court judges cited numerous and massive irregularities, including the use of white correction fluid to falsify ballot sheets, a massive miscarriage of justice and an attack on the foundations of democracy, denounced Peter Mutharika's spokesman, who confirmed that the outgoing president will appeal the ruling.
Well, a new vote is set to take place under different rules. A new vote that will take place under different rules will now hold within the next 5 months. Joining us now from Lilongwe is political commentator Humphrey Mvula. Humphrey, a warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us on the program. What a remarkable ruling it is for Malawi and indeed for democracy in Africa. What do you make of this decision?
It is a landmark decision. It has not happened during our democratic dispensation from 1994. It has set about new sites in our democracy. It has, in my opinion, leveled and provided the future of democracy, especially in terms of democracy in Malawi. It has also highlighted the independence of the judiciary, that the judiciary would take action where things have gone wrong. Yes, the people of Malawi have been expecting to hear this kind of verdict because when the elections were held in May last year, there were a lot of irregularities. Very many irregularities where tip text was used, duplicate forms were used, and signed copies were used, and some of the voters voted twice, and they also had several other impediments where some irregularities were promoted by the electoral body and were forced into just abiding by what the electoral body had actually undertaken to do. It seems it was a scheme which was properly planned and probably aimed at helping the party government to win an election.
So how are the people of Malawi reacting to this decision, particularly the opposition groups?
Very, very happy. The current situation in Malawi, from the last election in May, they were divided in 2 major blocks. There were those that belonged to the opposition, largely represented by 62% of the voters as they registered during that election. These are very, very, very happy to hear about this judgment. And most of these come from the central part of Malawi and the northern part of Malawi, and a few others from the southern part. Malawi has got 3 regions. So then you have got some that they are supporting the ruling party, where the president comes from. These were possibly the president won by 38% of the vote. Therefore, these are gloomy today. They are not as happy as they should have been, but there are those that don't believe in party politics are equally happy because a new dimension has been set about by the court's ruling, which implies that some of the key issues that have been bothering Malawians from 1994 have been brought to the fore, like the ruling that there must be 50+1 for any winner of an election, presidential election. That's new, which Malawians have been looking for. Where the electoral body reigns supreme is something Malawians have wanted. So that the court have unraveled this and have spoken about it and have made a ruling which is very robust. Possibly that has created a new chapter in Malawi, future history in terms of our democratic dispensation.
Indeed, I must say, and not just for Malawi, really. The only other time this has occurred in Africa was when Kenyan judges annulled elections in 2017 on similar grounds, forcing a controversial rerun. So this really is huge. But Humphrey, President Peter Mutharika is not taking this lightly. He plans to appeal the court decision.
He is at liberty to appeal. He can. But if I was an advisor to the president, or if I belong to the president's party, I would have advised him not to appeal, because this is about the judgment is very robust. It has tackled every aspect of the electoral process and the result management system. People will remember the president, will remember his legacy better if he doesn't go for that process. Because currently, Malawians are very, very angry. And you can find that if you followed our politics in between from the past election, demos have been heard, numbers have been swelling every other demonstration. Just to underline the fact that the Malawians are angry, because the Malawians have never quite fallen in love with this president. Therefore, Malawians may have been not very happy to see him continue in position. Because Malawi today is beset by a lot of problems, which possibly, unfortunately, they may be attributed to poor leadership.
Well, Humphrey, this is where we would have to leave it at, though. I'd love to thank you for speaking with us this morning. Thank you. Political commentator Humphrey Mvula speaking to us there. On Malawi's top court's annulment of last May's presidential election, a rerun vote is slated to be held in 5 months' time. Richard.
And now we get into more news from across the continent.